So to just paint a picture of what's going on, when we bought the motorcycle, we weren't aware there was a tear on the frame. And when we brought it home and we were taking it apart, we found a tear in the frame. I think what happened was that the kickstand ended up hitting something, and basically as the kickstand was being bent back, not only was bending back, but took a piece of the frame with it and was just tearing and bending that frame. The first idea was reheating the metal and then bending it back into place and then having me weld it.
All the way around. This is the only piece attached. Obviously this alone is not going to give it any strength. It's going to have stuff welded on there. It's pretty close.
I wasn't comfortable with the finished product, so Eric came up with another idea, which was completely to cut it off, which I was 100% for. So Eric ended up, you know, getting some new steel and then shaping it perfectly over the gouge. It was as if it was a band-aid for the frame. It was just so perfect the way he cut it. After that, I ended up welding the band-aid, the steel piece, onto the frame, and then welding the kickstand onto that piece.
Copy.
Okay. Okay.
We were satisfied with the second idea, final idea, that ended up working quite well for us. But this part of the build, I just wanted to talk about ruminating, and I just thought it'd be like a good idea to talk about this. But if you don't want to hear this, you can just switch off and then go to like the next build video, whatever. But in this part of the build, it was something that I was reflecting on, like mindfulness. And one of my things is, when it comes to big projects, like really major projects or projects that need to be put out into the public, I tend to ruminate over ideas. For example, with this R5 frame that we were working with, you know, thinking about a tear in the frame, I was pretty nervous of trying to figure out a solution. And because of like my engineering background, I not only think about what to do to fix it, but I start thinking about like changing the chemical composition, like what happens when I weld it and consistently weld it. Because Eric already had attempted welding it for the first time and then it didn't turn out right, and then I had to go at it. And so my mind's thinking like, whoa, like we've already reheated this metal and then we're welding it again and then again. And so my mind tends to just, I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience of maybe a decision that you had to make, you know, or working on a project, and you just sit there and you just think of another solution and then another solution. After doing my idea, so I haven't even acted upon it, but an idea, and then I think of the outcome of it and the possible failure of it, and I stack upon that failure and think of another idea, and then the possible outcome of that idea, and then have another thought of a possible failure, And then I think of it just keeps stacking, and it becomes so overwhelming that I tend to just stop. Like, I completely shut down. And I don't know about you guys if that is something that you guys experience, but I've definitely experienced this quite a bit. Probably not so much while in school in engineering, but definitely in the professional world. I think there's just so much pressure that I put on myself, just ruminating in ideas and thoughts and failures, and instead of acting upon it just to try, I just ended up ruminating and I just get stuck. And so something that I thought was really cool and to point out is Eric is the opposite. And although he can think about a ton of ideas and, you know, just think of even possible failures, one thing that he does, and I think is really, really cool, and something that I guess like not only a takeaway for me, but maybe a takeaway for you guys, if you experience this with any of your projects or big decisions, you know, after really thinking about it, but not too much that it's overwhelming, but actually considering the situation at hand, the situation that is present at the moment, and coming up with an idea to handle that situation, not the supposed outcome of a failure. So until you put action into what's in front of you, you won't know what the outcome is. And that's something that I'm learning, is to not just sit and ruminate and just think of possible successes and failures, but just to actually go out and just do it. And I thought that was really cool. And I thought it was just worth mentioning here and sharing with the fam. So thank you, Eric, if you watched this. And that is something that I took away from this part of the project and that I learned from you, Eric. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on this build, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.